I'm here today at the Gathering of Five Metals, and I'm talking with Cheryl Daniels, and we're just going to talk about her reenacting experience. How long have you been reenacting?
I've been reenacting about 25 years.
25 years. And what do you typically reenact?
I started reenacting the French and Indian War period,
Right.
and have kind of evolved through history to the War of 1812, so I can reenact from the 1750s to 1812.
So today you were demonstrating. What kind of demonstration were you doing?
We were doing natural plant dyeing, so we were taking things that would be found from here, either natural plants that were found in this area,
Right.
or things that the Native Americans and the colonists might have traded for.
Right.
And some of that trade stuff would have come from as far away as Mexico,
Right.
up the riverways, and been traded for to here.
So that they could get all kinds of neat colors.
They could get all kinds of neat colors.
Right.
And
So, it wasn't just all browns and grays in the 18th century?
oh no, we had pinks and lavenders and bright yellows and oranges, and you know, if you can get red and blue and yellow, you can use your color wheel and get all kinds of colors.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
So, have you ever had one of those pristine moments, one of those moments where you feel like you're back in history?
Oh yes, in fact, that's how I started into this.
Oh really?
Because I went to a not-for-profit historical education site. I walked in there and I had this overwhelming feeling like I went home. And then it was hard for me to leave that day. And then I thought, oh, you're just being silly.
Right.
And I went home and I tried to ignore it, and it just wouldn't go away.
Just kept coming
it
back.
just kept coming back. And so my one son, who was 10 at the time, was very interested. And so we made ourselves some clothes and off we went to events, and that's how the whole family got started.
That is an interesting story. I love that story. When you're researching, especially for the demonstration stuff, what are your kind of go-to resources for doing your research?
Usually I go to books for the dye stuff. There's a lot of good books out there about like the kind of things that you can grow in your own garden that you can use for dyeing. So that's helpful, because that gives me things that I could grow right here that I wouldn't have to trade for, because monies and trade goods were hard to come by. They didn't have a lot. So that helps. So books are my number one source. Although other historical reenactors are wonderful sources, especially for those getting started, because they'll help you.
So if somebody came to you and they said they were interested in reenacting, what kind of advice do you have? Maybe advice you'd give to yourself 25 years ago.
Okay, if they were talking to me, I'm a reenactor, and I've been there. So what I would say to them is, don't be overwhelmed by everything you see in people's camps. You're just getting started. I find reenactors as a whole to be very helpful and very generous. So a lot of times people will give you things that you need just to get started. In the summertime, the settlers didn't wear shoes, so you don't have to worry about footwear. You could go barefoot if you want to. If you know any sewing skills, you can sew your own petticoats. They're very easy. So a petticoat and a chemise, there's just a couple of pieces of clothing that you need, and just jump in, you know, and people will help you with food and with clothing and with whatever.
Right. It's not, don't make it too complicated. Don't think you have to have everything figured out.
No,
Just to get started simple, easy. Yeah, and ask other people's help. Because everybody's very helpful.
Yes, they are.
What do you do in your other life?
In my other life, I'm a nurse.
Okay.
I've been a nurse for 40 years, and I am a patient navigator for Women's Health, so I work mostly with women with breast cancer. I find that very rewarding to be able to help people.
Do you ever have any connection with, you know, how does this affect your work ever? Or is it just a recharge for you?
No, you know, people are always so anxiety-ridden when they're ill. In any kind of sickness, they're anxiety-ridden. And so when I come back and tell them stories about this, you know, it helps to ground them, because I'm talking about fire and food and friends, which all of us hopefully have those things, and it helps them to look at those things and to focus on that instead of being ill. So I really think that helps.
Great, that is wonderful. I want to thank Cheryl so much for sharing with us these stories. I love those.
Thank you.
Getting started story is great. And I want to thank everyone out there for watching. If you're new to our channel, I want to welcome you. You can subscribe by clicking the button right up here. Also check out our related videos. Thanks so much for watching.